everybody. Welcome to a summer 2014 S.W.A.T review. My name is Kate, otherwise known as Narataki.
And I'm Alan, otherwise known as Hisui.
We are from ReverseThieves.com. You can go there to get other S.W.A.T reviews, as well as our monthly Speakeasy podcast, and 3+ blog posts every week.
This time, we are looking at Akame ga Kill from Studio White Fox, and it is streaming on Crunchyroll. It is the story of a young man named Tatsumi. He comes from a small village, and the village is not doing so well. They're very heavily taxed. They're very poor. So he plans to go to the big city, the capital, and earn money in the military to give back and hopefully revitalize his town. He went with some of his friends, but they've gotten lost, so he's going to try to meet up with them.
And before he even gets to the town, people are like warning him that the imperial capital is like a place of nefariousness and bad people and bad things, and he fights monsters. So it's like, you know, it's like a fantasy series, so he fights these monsters on the road to make money, and they're like, there are worse things in the capital, blah blah blah. And the capital's humongous. I mean, they have this like crazy aerial shot of how large this city is. And of course he gets there and he's a country bumpkin and he gets swindled like instantaneously.
And so he also hears that there is this group called the Assassins that have been taking out high-ranking nobilities, and they're kind of the current terror of the populace.
The night raid, because they always show up at night. I mean, when else would whatever. Anyway, the interesting thing about it is that the night raid, the assassins are really the main characters of the... I mean, Tatsumi himself is the lead, but like this group of assassins who are sort of like the other side of the law are kind of the lead of the story. And so in this episode, he kind of starts to get acclimated to the city. He meets this nice family who helps him out after he gets swindled. And of course, there's a twist. Because the series, I mean, I didn't know a lot about it. Al, you seem to already know a lot about it.
I was randomly researching The Wild Hunt for our RPG, and this show came up because there are apparently some villain group later on in the series. And I just learned a little about them. And yeah, that kind of set the tone for this series, that it is definitely a messed up, or at least it, you know, delves into some darker material than your average shonen show.
Yeah, it's fairly violent. You know, there's a lot of death in the first episode, and we meet the assassins, and of course they assassinate. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like if the series is gonna be like the dregs of humanity, and every subsequent episode are just gonna have like worse and worse people in it. Like, I don't know. It's just not appealing at all. I didn't think. I mean, obviously these people kind of like get their comeuppance, I guess you could say, because the assassin group goes after them. But like, I don't know. Like, I guess just my personality, I have no interest in like watching a series where like all we get is like the most awful tales of depravity. Like, I don't know. That's just so like kind of sickens me. Like,
yeah, just from once again, from what little I've read of the rest of the series, yeah, that generally seems to be like, we're the anti-heroes, but the guys we're going up against are so horrible that we become the heroes.
Yeah, because, I mean, they have no problem, like, everybody in this series has, like, no problem, like, straight up murdering people. I mean, obviously, they're not good people, so, you know, it's, like, that gray, they're kind of, like, vigilante-esque. Also, if the first episode is any indication, the people are so evil that it's, like, it's almost ridiculous how evil they are. I mean, I don't doubt that there are bad people in humanity, but like just the way people are evil is so extreme. It just, I don't know.
I feel like they want to have this kind of dark justice porn where you see these people who are super bad, and then you get to see them taken out by people, these, you know, tragic anti-heroes. So it's like, yeah, you stick it to them, dark heroes. That's what I kind of feel this show's main appeal is.
I thought it was, but like kind of juxtaposed to that is kind of this kind of like silly humor, which I don't know, I guess some people kind of like that incongruousness, and I didn't. I don't know, in a way it made me more like ill. It was like, oh, they're gonna have like a quirky little slapstick moment here right before they like chop these people in half.
I wonder if it's supposed to be that, if it's all just in the muck and mire of how horrible humans can be given power, that be too much. But yeah,
I agree, but like maybe they could have like some good people like, instead. I mean, obviously not all the time. I mean, maybe there are good people. Like, I feel like the best thing that happens to Tatsumi in the whole episode is that he gets swindled out of money. Like,
just from the opening, it seems like all the characters have super bad paths in which, you know, the nobles have wronged them, and that's why they're doing this. Because, I mean, yeah, it seemed like everybody had some super horrible childhood, which put them into the night raid.
So, kind of like, this is like sad girl games, except everyone's a badass assassin. Like,
and so I could see who this is going to appeal to. I mean, it's definitely going to have an appeal. I don't think it's just a series for either of us.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me, and
also
I still have belief in humanity, so I can't revel in this.
Although I have to say, the clothing is also really, because most of the, you know, non-main characters look really fantasy-esque, but a lot of the people in Night Raid, especially the, you know, the main characters, have this weird, like, I'm wearing modern clothing in a fantasy setting, like the main character's sweater.
Or the girl, her, like, almost like a school uniform. I mean, yeah,
like,
they
it's
look
like an armored
uniform.
School uniform, but it's,
it's
still a
very
school
weird.
uniform. I don't...
And then there's that other guy that looks like he's wearing kind of like a hoodie or like a furry coat or whatever.
But it's only the people in the Night Raid. Everybody else just looks like fantasy characters.
I know, at first, actually, when the series started, because I didn't know anything about it, I thought it was one of those, we got sucked into the game, like, things.
Yeah, and when I saw the first picture on Crunchyroll, I'm like, did I read about some other series and this is, like, set in the modern day? Because all I saw was the dude and his sweater. I was like, oh, maybe I was thinking of some other series.
So, yeah, I'm not watching the show.
All right, see you guys next time.